It's time for another episode of Make Space Boring. I'm your host, Jason Canigan, founder of the Gold Star Technologies Company, and I'm here with Dr. Gordon Roesler. He is a past DARPA Program Manager, and also the founder of Robots in Space. And he's had an episode where we've recorded already, but it hasn't come out yet because there's that extending gap between when I record and part of the problem of having a little bit of popularity of the show, I'm afraid. But I wanted to have him back on to explain something that I saw. You had posted about a DARPA program about robots in space that got approved, and you were really excited about this. And I said, why don't we have you back on to talk about this? So let's begin with this. What happened?
Well, so before I retired, I was the program manager for DARPA's Robotic Servicing of Geosynchronous Satellites program. So that's a satellite with robot arms on it that's supposed to go out to geo and inspect satellites, repair them, move them around, add new stuff to them. And when that program was started, we decided to make it a public-private partnership. All the companies that were interested wanted to own the robotics, but the robotics were being developed by the government. And the only way you can transfer something to a private company from the government is if there's a consideration provided. The consideration that we asked for when we started RSGS was a company, the partner, build the bus that would carry the robotics, the satellite bus, and pay for it themselves. Right? So the bus part of it is a private entity. And then once it gets on orbit and it's tested, the government would transfer the ownership of the robotics to the company. It would be a completely commercial company. And the reason is there's far more commercial satellites in GEO than government satellites. So we just see it operate more and learn more from it. And the partner we chose at the time was called SSL, which later became part of Maxar Technologies. In early 2019, Maxar Technologies withdrew from the program. As many of your listeners will know, there's been a serious downturn in orders for GEO satellites. They ran out of cash, to put it simply, and had to withdraw. Now that happened after I left DARPA. My successor, Joe Parrish, has been on a 13-month odyssey to solicit and negotiate with and finally commission a new partner to build a new bus that will carry these robotics. And that happened a week or so ago, and the new partner is Northrop Grumman. So that's what happened.
All right, very cool. So why is this significant in the world of space?
So today, if we launch a satellite, we never inspect it, we never maintain it, we never upgrade it, we never repair it. And some of these satellites cost, a commercial one can cost $500 million. A military satellite can cost well over $1 billion. And so there's nowhere else on Earth where we build something that expensive and never look at it and maintain it and fix it and so forth. So we wanted to change that paradigm. This will be the first time that there is a satellite that can actually do things to other satellites and create value that way. It's important. The fact that DARPA has a new partner is important because now this isn't going to fall on the floor. These robotics that DARPA has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on will now get used. And Northrop Grumman, obviously they're excited about it because they bid on it, is going to use it to supplement and augment their existing servicing vehicle, which is called the MEV, the Mission Extension Vehicle, which I think many of your listeners know achieved the first robotic docking of commercial satellites with an Intelsat bird back a week or so ago. So they're now starting to get multiple capabilities. In addition to the life extension capability that MEV provides, they'll now get this inspection, repair, upgrade capability that the robotics on RSGS will provide. And that will be available to both commercial and to government users.
Okay. I really like this, and I'm glad that it hasn't been blocked by ITAR, which some things have. There's a launch technology from NASA that may have been leased out, and that was blocked. So where does this lead if we go down the road 5 years?
Well, first of all, there's no ITAR issue here. Northrop Grumman's a U.S. company.
Right.
So I expect in 5 years we will have seen at least once where a satellite is launched, one of its solar panels doesn't come out, or one of its radio reflectors doesn't come out. This happened recently to Eutelsat 5B, I think it was a solar panel problem. There was an antenna problem on Viasat 2. So we'll have seen at least one of these repair missions. We'll also have seen dockings, inspections, orbit changes, and hopefully adding things to satellites. So there are lots of people that would like to have things in GEO and they just can't afford it because having to buy the bus to attach their scientific payload to is just too expensive. But now you could just take something up and attach it, right, to a satellite that's already up there for a fee, to be sure, but pennies on the dollar compared to having to buy your own. And you may not even have to buy a launch. You might be able to have this package ride up with something else. So that's the kind of additional capabilities that we're going to see. Plus, there's another new initiative out in the world. There's a small part of the Defense Department called the Defense Innovation Unit. And they've recently been working with companies to create something that they called multi-orbit logistics, taking things from LEO to GEO or LEO to cislunar or other orbits, relatively small things to start with. But now you'll have a tow truck or a UPS truck or whatever you want to call it. It'll bring a package out to RSGS, and it can take that and then go attach it to a satellite. So there's an infrastructure developing, right, that is just like sort of the delivery and repair infrastructure that we have on Earth with, UPS and tow truck services and those kind of things. And with an infrastructure, you'll get growth in the economy. You'll get new businesses that we haven't even thought of yet. I mean, we had UPS, we had, the internet, and suddenly we had Amazon. Where did that come from? He didn't have to build his own distribution. He didn't have to build his own communications. He just leveraged those. So now we're going to have this infrastructure in space that already has good uses, but then people are going to come along and think of other uses for that. I mean, NASA will almost certainly use it to resupply the gateway around the moon. And so the combination of having these capable robotics in a very important orbit and then people developing an infrastructure to keep it supplied at low cost is going to create a big surge in the space economy.
Okay. I really like how you described that. So this is much more than just the potential to modularly add on components to or upgrade like you would your motherboard in your computer or something like that after a few years.
Well, it is that in part, right? So most satellites aren't designed in a modular fashion, but that could come. That could be another evolution of this, another outgrowth of it, I should say. People have talked about modular satellites for a long time, but there's been no motivation because there wasn't anything to put them together. Now there will be something to put them together.
Right.
So there's modular additions to existing satellites, there's modular satellites. And the cool thing about a modular satellite is you have a lot more flexibility in the launch architecture, right? You can use smaller rockets launched more frequently, and the launch cost might be a little bit higher, but the pace, the ability to do fleet management and that sort of thing, flexibility, it's hard to put a dollar figure on flexibility, but everybody knows they want it, and everybody knows it when they see it, kind of thing.
All right. Well, I really like this. Thanks for joining me today. This has been Dr. Gordon Roesler.
My great pleasure as always, Jason.
You bet. Founder of Robots in Space. I will link to the article you shared in the comments below. See you next time.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
Hey, this is Jason Canigan, the host of the Cold Star Project and the founder of Cold Star Technologies. I've decided to do something new. I've started doing daily update videos on who I met and what I learned the previous day in the space field. And it's a great sort of follow me thing. You can learn what I learn. I'm meeting a heck of a lot of people and learning a lot of things really fast. And the space field is really disparate. There are tons of nooks and crannies to go into and explore, from legal, operational, regulatory, compliance, and gosh, the end customer. Who'd have thought about that, right? So you can sign up for this. If you go to coldstartech.com/MSB, that's short for Make Space Boring, the mission we're on, then you can sign up, and in your email you will get a daily notification that the new video has been posted. I'm also thinking about doing some branded mini courses and summarizing papers as I'm able to. So those will be some goodies that are in there as well. So if you're interested in that, go to coldstartech.com/MSB and join us on the mission to make space boring.